Hi, this is Dave from Heads Up Health, and in this video we're going to show you how you can track ketones in your Heads Up profile. So if you're new to Heads Up Health, you can sign up anywhere on our homepage. If you've got an account already, go ahead and sign in. And the first thing we're going to do is add ketones onto our dashboard. And to do that, we just use the Add Widget button here. And we support tracking both blood ketones and breath ketones. So let's add blood ketones onto the dashboard. You can optionally set a goal that will show up on the widget. You can change the color of the font. So let's go ahead and add blood ketones. And you can see I've already got entries in my profile. That's why there's data showing up for new users. This will be blank until you make your first entries. Let's also add breath ketones if you're tracking those as well. And so now I've got both on my dashboard. Whichever method you're using, or both, you can have it show up on your dashboard. And like any other source, we can move it around. So I can reposition it to somewhere that's more convenient and put it here. If I want it up on the top row, I can do so. And that just allows me to configure things just the way I want them. So a few things with the dashboard widgets. Like all the dashboard widgets, you can click anywhere on the card and it will turn over. Here's your last 5 entries in your database, and we're automatically calculating average this month, average last month, average year to date on the back of the card. If I flip it over again, you'll see the left-right arrows here, and you can scroll all the way through your database as far back as you need to, and you'll see the time and date stamps updating here. So let's go all the way back to the beginning, to the most recent. Same thing with breath ketones. And so those are the basics for adding them to the dashboard. Next is entering new ketone readings. And like all manually entered data, just use the Add Data button. Choose the source. So let's add a blood ketone reading. And you can change the time and date stamps if you need to. Let's enter the reading. Let's say it was 1.5. And you'll notice there's an advanced options here where you can add additional tags to each reading, and I'll show how those are relevant in just a second. But let's say for this particular reading it was a fasting reading, and I can make some optional notes here. I can say for fasting for 24 hours, for example. Click Add, and it will now show up as my most recent blood ketone entry. Same thing for adding breath ketones. Just use the Add Data button. And that's the basics of adding data. The next thing we want to be able to do is look at trends in our ketone readings. And the analyzer is where we look at trends. So you can either click it here in the nav bar, or from any of these widgets you can just click the bar graph icon. And when you use the bar graph icon, we'll automatically plot that particular data source on the analyzer for you, and will automatically show you the last 30 days. So I've got my last 30 days of ketone readings here. Now on the analyzer I can change the date range, so there's some quick reference ranges here, this month, last 7 days, etc. Or I can specify my own date range. So let's go from June 1st of 2016 and hit enter, and the graph will automatically update with all of my readings since June 1st. Now down here on the bottom, we're taking all of those readings within that date range, and we're calculating the average, which was 0.9, the minimum, and the maximum. Here you'll notice you can actually filter which readings are shown on the graph. So that relates back to the tags that we can specify when we enter a reading. So if I only want to look at my fasting ketone readings, I just select the fasting option, and it will only show me fasting readings. And then these numbers will automatically update, and it will show me the average, max, and min for my fasting readings as well. You'll notice as you move your mouse over each data point, the tooltip will show up. The tooltip will show you the exact reading, the time and date stamp, and any notes you made along with the reading. That's where the notes come in handy, because they can help add a lot of context when you're looking at different data points on the graph. So the next thing we might want to do is compare our ketones to other data that we're collecting. So for example, if I wanted to compare my ketones, let's go back and look at all ketone readings here. If I wanted to compare those, for example, to my weight, I can plot my weight on the graph. And you can see as I've gone in and out of ketosis since June, my weights slowly started to trend down, and we're calculating average max and min for weight down here as well. If I don't want weight on the graph, I can just take it off. Maybe instead I want to compare it to my blood glucose. And now I've got my average max and min for glucose. And maybe I want to compare my fasting glucose readings with my fasting ketone readings. So now I've filtered for only fasting readings on the analyzer. And you can compare and trend different data sources any way you want on the analyzer. Last is if you want to make a change to any of your existing data points. And to edit your entries, just navigate to the My Data section, and then you'll go to the Data Feeds tab. And for any of the data you're tracking manually, you can edit your entries here. So let's go edit that entry of 1.5. Maybe I need to change some of the details. Maybe I made a mistake and it was actually 1.6. And maybe it actually wasn't a fasting reading. It was 2 hours after exercise. And then I can just update my notes here after CrossFit and hit OK. And the entry will update. And then if I don't want it anymore, I can just delete it. So those are the basics of tracking ketones in Heads Up Health. If you have any questions, shoot us an email, support@headsuphealth.com. Thank you.